And we are back from that fat break. Thanks to Alex, our director in the booth, and thanks to Will, who's a fantastic fantasy football mind, joining me on the set right now. Will, one of our writers, you can check out his writing on our website,
Make sure you do.
testosteronesports.com. Will, it's your first time on the show, man. How's it feel?
Indeed, it feels great. I'm happy to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me on. I've watched the show for a long time. I like what you guys are doing, so thanks for having me here.
And it's all about fantasy football. We've played in a league together for 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
And we just love fantasy. This is a labor of love from us to you. The show, the website, check it out. After the show is over, we do a fat chat. Will's on there, I'm on there, Jeff, Yeasty, all the cast of characters on there right after the show is over. testosteronesports.com. There's a live chat room. You can hop in there. We just talk about fantasy football. We break down which players we like in which given matchups, just to give you the most up-to-date injury information basically that's out there. And I mean, really, Will, when you talk about the NFL and fantasy football, it's something that you have to stay up on a day-by-day basis because things are changing rapidly.
They definitely do, and it's a good thing that we all like it so much, so it's easy to stay up on it. I'd rather do that than a lot of the other things that I have to do in my life. Rather do that than go to work. Yeah, it's been a tough one. There's been a lot of injuries. There's been a lot of bye-week filling guys that you can pick up, little spot starts. People like Sammy Morris have kind of come out of nowhere.
Right.
Never heard of him before this year, and it depends on, I guess, what kind of team you drafted. It's either helped you that that's happened or it's hurt you that that's happened.
Right. It's been a cataclysmic year for the big name running backs, and some of the big name wide receivers have really outproduced some of those running backs. So what we're going to do here in the next couple minutes that we have with Will is get his take on 8 of the matchups that are going down in NFL week number 6. Of course, it's the bye-pocalypse, Will. There are 6 teams on bye this week. So as we start to break down these matchups, if there's any names that jump out to you, players that might not be normally in someone's starting lineup that you'd advise a play, let's throw that out there to the fantasy football junkies.
For sure.
So the first matchup we're going to talk about, Carolina at Arizona. These two teams are both now without their quote-unquote starting quarterbacks, as Jake Delhomme is now out for the season, as is Matt Leinart, both players placed on the injured reserve. So what can we expect now, Will? These two teams have new captains at the helm.
They do. It's the battle of backups. Kurt Warner has played very well. They've kind of had that odd quarterback by committee situation there, where it seems like they kind of use Matt Leinart to take the pounding and Kurt Warner to do the dirty work when it's time to score points.
Right.
And David Carr, just a straight Jake Delhomme's done. So he's the starter for the rest of the season. They signed Vinny Testaverde, I think, to be his backup, which is kind of interesting. I was kind of hoping, because they had been talking about having Vinny Testaverde sign with Arizona, which would have been an incredible starting combined age for their backup.
The geriatric quarterback group.
That would have been pretty impressive, the ages for those guys. In that game, I guess Carolina, to me, has basically, they're 3-2. They're not a bad team, but they really haven't done anything that's been very impressive to me either.
Exactly.
Especially with Jake Delhomme out, Steve Smith gets quite a bit worse in that situation. He's still a viable fantasy play.
Got to start him.
Yeah, you still got to start him, but it definitely, I don't think he's putting up those 30-point, win you your game on his own kind of games that he was when Jake Delhomme was at the helm. On Arizona's side, Larry Fitzgerald seems like a really good start, with Anquan Bolden possibly being out still.
Right.
He's had some injury trouble. Deshaun Foster, I don't know about him.
Yeah, Foster's he's been decent so far. He's definitely been a better play than D'Angelo Williams, the other back there. Sure. And that's been a little bit of a surprise for fantasy owners. So if you have Deshaun Foster, you probably want to have him in your lineup here. Arizona's better than you think against the run.
Especially with the buys, that kind of thing. You probably forced into playing Deshaun Foster.
Exactly. And Edgerrin James is definitely in play in your lineup in this matchup.
Oh, for sure. He actually leads the NFC right now in rushing yardage after last week. He has, I think, 445, something like that.
Amazing.
And so, and might not have expected that at the beginning of the year. I'd like to think I did. I got him in a couple of
There
leagues.
you go. Oakland at San Diego, the next matchup that we're talking about. Oakland, a team that is leading their division right now with a 2-2 record. They had a hot start at the beginning of the season from Lamont Jordan. He's now missing some time because of a back injury that he suffered. We don't know if he's going to play in this matchup. San Diego really struggled out of the blocks early, Will. What do you think? Oakland at San Diego. Is San Diego about to right the ship and just get on a roll?
I actually think that they are. I think that Denver game definitely helped them get healthy. I think they have a lot more confidence. I think they are starting to get some people besides LaDainian Tomlinson involved in the game.
Right.
Vincent Jackson's had a couple of decent games. Antonio
Touchdown
Gates has
last
been
week.
great. Yeah, exactly. And Phillip Rivers seems like he's at least moving the ball in some other ways. Anything that they can do to do that will open it up more for LaDainian Tomlinson. They'll definitely never forget about him.
Right.
He's going to get his points no matter what. And I like this matchup with Oakland. They have to go to San Diego. I think that they're going to. I think they have already begun to right the ship with that Denver win, and this will just be a furthering of that.
I couldn't agree anymore. You got to put Lamont Jordan on your bench here. I mean, you've gotten the best production, in my opinion, out of Lamont Jordan that you're going to see from him for the rest of the year. Justin Fargas probably should not be played here either. I kind of think that was a little bit of an anomaly, that high yardage total he had.
Well, it was against Miami. Who's been horrible.
Going into the bye week. So here, I think Will and I are in agreement. You start your Chargers and pretty much bench your Raiders.
Well, outside of that, I don't think it's impossible that Dante Culpepper could have a little bit. The San Diego defense has been a little bit suspect. So I guess I wouldn't hate I don't know if I'd want to start him, but I don't think that it's impossible they could get some points.
New Orleans traveling to Seattle. New Orleans, a team that is absolutely just reeling, and Seattle got blanked last week by Pittsburgh. Seattle, I would really like Deion Branch in this matchup if Deion Branch were healthy, but now Deion Branch is out. So sleeper alert here for the Bipocalypse week. I like Bobby Ingram because New Orleans has allowed a league-high 40-plus yard passes here. So I think Seattle on Sunday night, they should get it going. New Orleans sucks on D.
Yeah, they pretty much do at this point. I like the Bobby Ingram pickup. I actually made that one in a league or two as well, or just one actually.
Nice.
But I like that play. The blanking of Seattle last week, I think, actually makes them angry. And New Orleans, I don't know if they have anything left to get angry about. I don't know if there's any pride left on that team. I think Seattle's defense is
They're pissed about the
this
hurricane
year.
again.
Right, exactly. They've got other things to worry about. Seattle, I think, has an improved defense this year. I think New Orleans is the perfect thing to happen after you get shut out. And so
exactly.
I think they're going to have a good time.
Drew Brees is a player you probably just need to reserve right now. He's turning into a fantasy bust this season. Reggie Bush really looks like the kind of guy who's going to struggle as the primary ball carrier. This team misses Deuce McAllister, and basically it's been a perfect storm, if you will, for New Orleans. 2 years in a row they get a perfect storm rolling in. I think that basically New Orleans is done for the season, and you know, really they're going to just have to try to regroup and hope that next year is better, because I don't like their prospects anytime soon.
I want to see one good game out of each of those potential starters people thought were going to start at the beginning before I would put them back in my lineup.
The Giants on Monday night traveling to Atlanta. Now the Giants really sucked early in the season. 0-2 start. They've won 3 games in a row. Plaxico Burress has been a big blow-up player, as Jeff said he would. Jeff predicted a career season from Plax. He's been right on the money here. I love Plax in this matchup. Shockey caught a touchdown last week, as did Burress, another one. So the Giants going into Atlanta, I think they're going to roll.
Yeah, I guess I hope so. I always think that on the road is a little bit tougher than at home. I wish this game was at home, because then I'd feel like the Giants were just going to completely destroy them. I do think that running game is healthy now. It's got Brandon Jacobs back.
You got to release the Kraken, everybody.
Yes, indeed. Bow
release
down to
the Kraken.
They've got him back. Derek Ward is still playing, still doing well. He scored a touchdown last week, I think, for the first time. With that running game going, with that passing game going, I can't see Atlanta winning this game either.
Well, we thank you for joining us for this segment. Will, it was great to have you on. If you want to check out any of Will's writing, look at the website, testosteronesports.com. You're going to want to click on Will's picture down on the writer's page. It was a pleasure having you on, man.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we'll have you on again. And we'll be back right after this for an interview with Eric Nelson of WCCO Radio. You're locked and loaded, tuned in to Testosterone Fantasy Sports on MTN.